Hello everybody, AJ Ryzik here, and today we've got another distro review. Today we are looking at Makulu Linux Unity. Now, I've looked at some of the Makulu distributions in the past, and if you're not familiar with Makulu Linux, most of the distributions have been Debian based, although this one, and I believe there's been a couple of others that have been Ubuntu based, but this one in particular is Ubuntu based, uses the Unity desktop environment, but it has been seriously tweaked here. We've got normally you have the launcher here in the top panel. We have that once again. We've got all kinds of little goodies added up here in the top, and then we have a bottom panel that has been added. And the bottom panel is basically a tweaked Cairo dock, but adds a little bit of functionality in that now that, well, not only do you have a standard application menu, something that Ubuntu Unity does not have by default, but you have a little icon for every application that you currently have open. Anyway, right here I've got the Makulu homepage. Talks a little bit about the various distributions that they offer, and as you can see going across the top here, they've got an XFCE version, a Cinnamon, KDE, Unity, and there's actually a hybrid LXDE, and I think it's hybrid of LXDE and XFCE version that is being developed right now. So I'm looking forward to checking that one out. But let's go and back up over here and take a look at what he has to say about the Unity version. And you can see based on Ubuntu 14.04.2, which is the LTS version, 64-bit EFI support. They got the 3 panels, added the traditional menu, update notifications in the bottom panel. I'm not going to go through all this here, but kind of some of the highlights. Steam is ready to go for those of you that are gamers out there. Steam is ready to go, and I tried it. Put in my Steam credentials, boom, ready to go. So very nice on that. 32-bit architecture is enabled so that you can run those 32-bit applications if need be. Bunch of wallpapers included, links to video guides, and actually let me pull this down out of the way. You can see right up here, if you click on that, it'll open up Firefox, take you right to the video guides. Open that back up. Tons and tons of PPAs added, lots of software added. Got a variety wallpaper changer. Now this may be a feature that some of you are going to like. Wobbly windows and some other compiz effects have been enabled by default. For those of you that have seen my previous videos, you know how I feel about wobbly windows, but it's one of those things where I know a lot of people like it. To me, it is one of the most annoying effects known to mankind, but like I said, I know a lot of people like it, so it is enabled by default. And of course, going into compiz settings, you can go and turn it right off if you're like me and can't stand the effects. Wine is set up and ready to go by default. Play on Linux set up, ready to go. Netflix, Popcorn Time are ready to go. Of course, I've already talked a little bit about the bottom panel. TLP for power management. Let's keep on scrolling down here. EFI Secure Boot. This distribution can deal with that. So I'm going to close this up. And like I mentioned before, if you go and click on that little light bulb icon over here, it'll take you to the video help guides. And you know, 2 thumbs up for Jock, the developer. You know, he's gone ahead and made some videos to help you out on setting things up and whatnot. One is on installations, changing the wallpapers, changing themes, how to auto hide the side panel. And if you are somebody that wants to go and auto hide the side panel, of course the alignment of your menu button down here, it's not where you'd want it to be. It's going to be kind of, you know, off, you know, not aligned or whatever. So he explains how to go and realign that to the left hand corner. So very nice on that. One thing I do want to point out, you know, it's always important to go and read your release notes. And there's been a couple other reviewers online that have had issues because they either skimmed over or ignored the part right here where it says recommended application for creating a bootable USB flash drive is unethboot. You know, there was a couple of reviewers that were using the DD command to try to make the USB, and it wasn't working. And you know, if you go and use this unethboot, and everything works fine, you know, right out of the box. So you know, there's a reason that this was included in the release notes. And you know, just after I saw those other videos and was kind of like, you know, why are they having the trouble, I went back and tried it myself, and yes, DD for create the DD command for trying to create a live USB with this distribution, it does not work. So don't try it. Get, you know, just go and download unethboot, and it'll run on you know, Linux, it'll run on Mac, it'll run on Windows, you know, whatever. So no issue. There shouldn't be any issues with setting up your distribution. Alright, so now that we've got a little bit of the background information taken care of, let's take a look at the distribution. First of all, number one thing, and this is true with every one of the Makulu distributions, is that they all look good. Jock has put a lot of time and effort into theming and, you know, wallpapers and those sorts of things. Now in this distribution, he has included a wallpaper changer. I'm trying to remember the name of. I'll just click the about. Variety, it's called, and I've seen this used before. Very neat application in that you can set it up. If you go to preferences here, you can go and you got different effects that you can add. You can set this up so that it'll change wallpapers every so often. You can make it so it just changes on start. Tell it where to get you know, where to get those background images from. You know, it can be something that's stored on your desktop. You know, you can go and pull from NASA's astronomy picture of the day. You know, all kinds of different options. And then if you got different effects that you can add, grayscale, heavy blur, soft blur, pencil sketch, all kinds of stuff there. So real neat application. And then you can manually move on to the next image if you like. Just come over here, do next, and give it a second, and it'll move on to the next one. And the same thing with the little quote. You almost can't see it because my picture's covering over, but down here you can go and move that on to the next quote as well. So pretty neat application there. And like I said, the theming is neat as well. You've got the translucent top bar, your Unity launcher, that's all translucent over there, and same thing with the top bar on on your various application windows. So I like that theming. Like I said, the one thing that I'm not too thrilled about is the whole wobbly windows. Like I said, though, I know a lot of people really like those effects, but you can go and tweak those effects in your Compiz settings manager. And I've done previous videos talking about how to go and make some changes to all the various Compiz effects. So I'm not going to go into all those in this video, but you can go and change a lot of those effects right here through Compiz effects. The icon set that we're using here is called Buff, and I think it's neat looking. The one kind of issue I have with it, though, and it's not a big deal, is that it's so different from so many other icon sets that I don't always recognize the icon. So like, up here is the one for Firefox, and I've kind of had to train my brain so I knew what a lot of these icons were, and that a big part of that is just that I am unfamiliar with the particular icons that the look of the different icons there. Like I said, it's not a problem. It's just something that takes a little bit of getting used to. I do think that they're neat looking icons though. So let's take a look at some of the applications that we got here. We've already talked about the Variety Wallpaper Changer. We got LeafPad for our text editor. We've got a brightness indicator. We've got Copy Queue, which is a real neat clipboard manager. You can access it from up here on the top bar. Lots of tweaks and preferences and that kind of stuff that you can do it. Very customizable clipboard manager. So real neat application. And like I've already said, Steam is already installed by default. Couple other games as well. Play on Linux is installed already. For graphics, we've got My Paint, Shotwell. Down here under Internet, Pigeon for Internet messaging. Dropbox is installed by default. Also Megasync, which is it's similar to Dropbox, although and I'm not real familiar with it, but from what I understand, they much better security. Quick link for installing Netflix. We got Feed Indicator, Firefox for our web browser. Under Office, we have the WPS Office Suite, which used to be called Kingsoft Office, and this is one of the. It's a fairly nice Office suite, as long as it only includes a writer, a spreadsheet, and a presentation application. As long as you're all right with only having those three applications, and you don't need database and whatnot, this is a real nice Office suite. It isn't open source, so if you want an open source Office suite, this isn't it. But this, I guess the way to look at it is they're trying to be a clone of the late versions, say 2007 and up versions of Microsoft Office. They have basically their own version of the ribbon interface. Works very well. Lots of online templates available. Like I said, it's a pretty nice application. I have reviewed it in the past, and I'll throw a link up on here if you want to go and check that out. But real nice application. I mean, I'm a LibreOffice kind of person myself, but if you're looking for something that is pretty much a clone of Microsoft Office, this is a good one to go with. Anyway, so we talked about that. We got Osmo for document viewing, Evolution for our email. Okay, sound and video, VLC for our media player. You know, VLC, it it plays everything. What can I say? Kazam, they've got Kazam installed for videos and screenshots. I added a simple screen recorder and GUVC video for doing my screencasting, just because, not that there's anything wrong with the applications that we're already in, but I installed what I'm used to using, make things easier on myself. Down here in SunDrive, we've got a deconf editor and a couple other utilities there. There's where our printer is, power statistics, network connections, that sort of thing. Let's come down here to System Tools. BleachBit is installed by default. Of course, we already talked about how the bottom panel is ChiroDoc. If you go and click on here, you can go and tweak some of the settings on there. Nautilus Actions. I've done a video on this in the past. Will allow you to add various, I don't want to say actions, but I guess extend the capability of the file manager. You can add a open as root or open in gedit or that sort of thing to your file manager. We've got Unethinbooten installed by default, PPA Manager installed by default, GDebi Package Manager installed by default. Utilities, we've got all of our disk utilities, document viewer, all that kind of stuff there, and of course Wine down here, including Wine Tricks. Installing our software, we've got a couple of different routes you can go. Synaptic Package Manager is installed. That is my preferred method. But AppGrid is installed as opposed to Ubuntu Software Center. And if you've never looked at AppGrid, very nice software center. I'm usually pretty critical of software centers. I'm not a fan of the Ubuntu Software Center. I don't like the Gnome Software Center much better. This is a nice software center. Installing stuff is easy to go. It doesn't glitch. It doesn't freeze up. Yeah, it's not as complete as, say, the Ubuntu Software Center, but it works and it doesn't crash and glitch and all that kind of stuff for you. So, I mean, it's a simple matter of, you got these overviews. You can scroll down using your mouse, or you can use the buttons on the side. See something that looks interesting, click on it, tells a little bit about it, shows some reviews, and do you want to install it? You would click install now. This is Gpart is already installed, so you just click launch and you can launch it from here. Now, I've been playing around with this for a little over a week, and everything has just worked great on it. I haven't had any crashes or no glitches, freeze ups, anything like that. Everything worked just the way it's supposed to work. So I'm not exactly sure what everybody else's experience has been with it, but mine has been essentially flawless. Installing software has gone great. Everything has worked out of the box. The one issue I did have, and this isn't a Makulu issue, I installed GUVC View for my webcam, and at first it didn't work, and then I remembered that the version of GUVC, yeah, wow, I can never say that. Anyway, the version that comes in the Ubuntu software repositories didn't play nice with the current kernel, so I had to go and add an additional repository so that could upgrade to a newer version of the viewer. Once I did that, it was flawless. And like I said, that's not a Makulu issue. That is, it's just what was in the particular repository. I guess to kind of finish the review up, you know, would I use this as my main distribution? Well, I'm not much of a Unity person. You know, I'm more of a GNOME 3 person. I think what has been done with Unity in this distribution is really good. Got a lot of functionality added. I do think we've got kind of a lot of things going on. You know, now we've got the dock bar on the side, we've got the bottom panel, we've got a top panel. You know, it's getting kind of busy. So, I mean, for me, and this is just me personally, there's just too much going on. You know, personally, I would get rid of the sidebar right here if I was going to use this distribution, which you can go and set it to auto hide, because really when I launch programs, I go text based, and you know, hit the window key, type in what you're looking for, and go that route. I'm not a menu person. I'm not a dock person. I like the keyboard launcher, so that's kind of the route that I would go. But you know, if you're a Unity fan, I would much rather use this distribution than I would Ubuntu 14.04 or 14.10, you know, that sort of thing. Anyway, that about finishes this review up. Give us a big old thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and please share it if you like it as well. If you are not a subscriber, please subscribe. Leave comments, questions, all that kind of stuff down below, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks a lot.